Hello, hello, welcome back. We're here for the halftime show between games 1 and 2 of our first series there. It was maybe not a shellacking in the terms that Steve likes to put, but I would say that once we got to the point, there was no return for poor Evil Geniuses Challengers.
Yeah, I mean, once you're able to just keep stacking up the dragons and then set up the Elder Dragon in that way, like they just killed Shaden as he tries to steal Baron. And then he's respawning as they head back to the Elder. Like, the way the Wildcard played that 30-second window, I think every player and analyst should go back and analyze that, because I actually think it was really well done. Instead of rushing the Elder and trying to get it before Shaden shows up, they say, nope, let's just let Moose Hater push instead. We're going to pull one of their members back and then set up that way. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, this is really well played from Wildcard start to finish, I think. And it's honestly, I think that draft, like we highlighted it, Steve, the draft from Evil Geniuses, really hard to execute. If Shaden doesn't get the ball rolling, it doesn't work. And we saw that exact problem come to fruition. And the problem was some of those early plays looked good, but we flub on execution a little bit. A couple times in the 2 realm warps, I know you know what I'm talking about, Kangas, and that's where the game, in my mind, I was starting to be like, okay, I think this one is it's not looking good.
All right, enough of that. I have a way that we could talk about the game that might be a little bit more fun and a bit more engaging for everyone.
Magical halftime show?
Yeah, it's a magical halftime show. And it's a very clever name to kind of hide what I'm actually going for here. It's called Quiz Show with Magical. And just so you know, everyone out there, Steve actually had to use the bathroom during the break, so I gave all the answers to Beatdown, so he should actually win this.
You know what?
I did not actually do that.
I didn't have to go to the bathroom. I grabbed some tea, all right? It's important to keep your throat
That is true, yes.
good during games.
You put some honey in there, I hope, to really help with your throat.
Yeah.
Good. But yes, I gave Beat all the answers. So let's ask the first question of both of you. And this is, again, a way to kind of help illustrate what happened in the game. So the first question is, what element was the first dragon of the game? And you're both competing against one another. So whoever answers first and correctly gets the point.
It was Cloud, right?
Ocean.
Beat gets the point. It was an ocean dragon. And the reason why, obviously, that was chosen as a question was the big fight around the dragon. In fact, ocean dragon partly was what undid mobility.
Remember 9 auto attacks.
9 auto attacks.
That
the
was
slows
so
that applied to him as well to make it that much more difficult for him to get out of danger. It was pretty much the start of the inevitable downfall of Evil Geniuses Challengers in that game. Alrighty,
yeah, that was rough. I mean, watching him, first off, everybody else is in the realm warp. He's not. I don't hate that initially because it's like, okay, maybe you want to stay further away. But then he sees Saligo coming around, so he has to jump into the pit. Fails the flash over the wall, and the dragon is just hitting him the whole time. It's like, oh, no.
Things happen. Things happen. But yes, Beat gets the point. So there we go. 1-0, Steve. So far, you're failing. Not too surprising, like I said.
Give you an easy one. Beat
also has all the answers, so it makes it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So now, second question: who was the first to finish their mythic? Bonus point if you can name the item built.
I think it was
Lens Kraken Slayer.
No. I think it was actually Ryoma, and it was Rod of Ages, right?
You were both wrong. The first actually was completed by Moose Hater. Divine Tsundere was the first item. And about 20 seconds later, the Rod of Ages was completed.
I knew that those two were close because those were the first that I remember seeing. And also, first off, Lens went to Vampiric Scepter first, so it definitely wasn't the Kraken Slayer.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a big investment there. Also, Soul didn't get one in the first 2 items. He went Quick Blade, or he went the Essence Reaver into Quick Blade.
And,
Jungle Keel went the Demonic Embrace. Yeah, there was a lot of people that weren't building them, so that's why I thought it was the Rod of Ages.
The reason why I picked that question was Moose Hater actually had gotten that completed before he tried to go for that dive onto Soul underneath the turret. The stopwatch had happened. That actually was turned around to kind of get a little bit back to help out Soul in that matchup that he was struggling into. So there you go. A little bit of context on that one.
I was close. 20 seconds off.
Yeah, you were. Very close, but no cigar. No points for either of you. Beat, I'm disappointed. You had the answer. Anyways.
I don't have the answer.
You told him
No, you didn't.
I told him all the answers.
I thought that was real at first.
No.
You take what I say seriously. Oh, Steve. Oh, you summer child. Anyways, question number 3. How many turrets did EGC get with their first Baron buff?
Wait. I don't have a buzzer. Do I have a buzzer sound?
It doesn't matter. Just go. Just
but
answer.
It's funnier if I hit a buzzer. I don't have a buzzer.
Just hit your. Pat your head. Pat your head.
Pat my head. I believe 0. I don't think they actually got a turret with the first Baron buff.
I'm gonna say 1.
They fought immediately after, if I remember correct.
They didn't lose everyone though.
So, the answer is 1. They got the mid-tier 1. That was the only turret they got, and that was after. Yes, barely. It was the last few seconds of the Baron. They were able to pick that up.
Oh man.
Yeah, unfortunately, Steve, you're still 0 points. Is he not paying attention? Are you not paying attention to the game?
I'm getting close to these answers. Come on.
Close but no cigar. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Come on. So, question number 4. At approximately what time did Wildcard get the Elder Dragon?
29 minutes, roughly.
I'm going to go 29:01 minutes. So that's way
No. I said approximately. So it's got to be to the closest 30.
I'm gonna say then 30. Yeah, I think it was like 33 actually, but I'm gonna go 30.
The answer is Steve getting the point. It was at almost exactly 30 minutes. It was at 30:02 is when they were taken.
I got a point.
Yes, Steve's got his point. Congratulations, Steve is on the board, and he has a chance to tie it up with this last question. And yes, obviously the reason why the Elder was so important.
Yeah, I have 2. What are you talking about?
How do you have 2 points? Wait, where'd you get?
I got 2 answers right. Ocean Dragon and 1 turret.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I can't even remember this game. Let alone the last.
Good luck, Steve. Good luck. And yes, I chose that because the Elder Dragon, we saw how Wildcard went for it. They set up. Jaden went for a long path thinking he had enough time to get the flank. It didn't work out. Elder was picked up. The game was pretty much already over at that point. That just cemented it. Anyways, last question. And no, this is not for all the marbles. Actually, you know what? Fine. I'm going to make it worth 2 points.
Ooh.
That way, we give Steve a chance.
All right.
So, how many stacks of Magi's did Saligo have at the end of the game?
You had a measure?
Yeah, remember you even called it. He lost stacks.
I called the Dark Seal.
He upgraded to a Magi's before going into the base.
Before going into the base.
The enemy base.
So let's think about this.
End?
He got picked when he had 8. You lose half, so 4. Then, or do you lose 5? Wait, do you lose half or 5? I don't remember how many.
You lose half.
You lose half. All right. He was down to 4. And then I think there was the Elder fight. He probably got 2 assists there. He maybe
gives you what, 2 stacks?
I'm gonna go
I love how they're
7?
like thinking. You can hear the cogs churning.
I'm gonna
7.
I'm gonna say no. There were 2 kills by the end as well. He got 1 of them. I'm gonna say 14.
So we have a 7 and we have a 14. Very different answers. The correct answer and the winner of the quiz show with Magical is, drum roll please, Beatdown! It was 14 exactly!
Oh my god, I'm actually just different.
He is. And he wins the quiz show. Steve,
I can't even believe
you don't get a consolation prize because that's not how it works here. Pat yourself on the head for at least, I guess, a participation. I don't know. That's the best you're getting from me.
Yeah,
but Beatdown, you get a round of applause, you know, all that good stuff.
All right, I'll give it the Beatdown. Now, okay, so did he get the Mejai's before the fight then? He must have to get that many stacks, yeah.
I think he got it.
Because you can't go past 10 on Dark Seal. So that means he had it for the Elder fight, because I don't think there was a fight after, unless maybe he just got a couple for the game and he pushed. Yeah, I guess I didn't factor that in either. I think they got a kill or 2 right at the fountain at the end.
They did. And that's actually what put it over, because he was at 6 inside the base, and he got 2 kills, so it put him to 10 and then to 14.
I forgot those ones.
It just be how it do sometimes, Kangas. There's the people like me who have flawless memory and can't make mistakes, and then there are people like you, Kangas, who just
Steve,
can't
if
get
it makes
it right.
you feel any better, I did give him all the answers, you know.
He did it!
Yeah. That does make me feel a lot better. Yep.
I have to make Steve feel better, Pete. Just let him have this.
Yeah, understandable. You're right.
By the way, make sure in Twitch chat you're spamming either EGC or WC to show support for the team you think is going to pick up this victory. We got draft ready. I think it's best we get into the game. We had fun with the quiz show. Beatdown is our winner. But Steve, you might be the winner as you get to cast this exciting game.
I do feel like a winner, Magical, because every time we watch Wildcard play, I think everybody watching this, we're all winning together.
I think so too, and I like that attitude. You know, it's the attitude of a loser where you try and spread it with everyone saying, oh, you know, in the end we all win, or it's about friendship or things like that. And I understand, Kangas. I knew you knew that.
It hurts. You didn't need to do me like. I thought we were cool.
We are.
Do I need to put you back? Do I need to put you back in the trash?
Oh God, it was the foot, dude. It was the Magi stack guess, dude. My ego's through the roof now. It's crazy.
Through the roof right now. We got to bring it back down. So let's bring our attention back into the pick ban then. Evil Geniuses Challengers still banning out the respect bans for Moose Hater. The Garen's gone. They leave Blitzcrank up this time. They still ban Ash, but now they take away the Maokai. Keel was a menace on that, and I think EG Challengers do not want to deal with it again.
Yeah, and I think that's the play. And it's interesting, too, because usually the trifecta of, like, Elise, Maokai, and Sejuani are either banned or two get left. Oh!
Okay.
Yo, it's going to be the kill, Nunu. Let's go. It's been so long since I've seen this champion competitive. Oh, my God.
You know?
No, hey, it's that meta, Kangas, where we're going gank heavy, and Keel's coming in with the biggest snowball ever.
Wait, you know what? You actually have a point there. Based on how a lot of the lanes are playing out.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say too, Nunu's early clear is not terrible. Like you can 5 camp before Scuttle spawns if you practice. And it's hard. But I mean Keel I'm pretty sure is a Nunu player. So I have full faith.
You a Nunu one trick at one point also? I remember
when I played jungle, I exclusively played Nunu and Vi, and it was great.
All right, so we'll be waiting for your expert analysis on the Nunu pathing then going into this game. But I want to highlight something here. The Tristana locked in with the Jhin means that they can put Jhin AD carry, Tristana mid.
Yeah.
Maybe they would do something crazy like Tristana Jhin support. I don't like that though, especially not against a Blitzcrank. So I think that just means that they're blind picking Tristana mid. I don't know how I feel about that one.
It was something that was banned away from them earlier, if I'm remembering correctly, and it's something Ryoma plays a good bit. I'm pretty sure he's played it on the weekend. He's played it back when we saw him competing previously as well. So overall, I think it is a strong pick, and I think it's okay because you have that bit of safety with the rocket jump. But the Blitzcrank ends up being good because you're playing into a Jhin, kind of immobile. All you're really going to have to rely on is the Gale Force. The pick potential of Wildcard's comp is pretty insane. And it's going to be really brutal playing something like a Jhin into it because, I mean, those gank bots, you better have some crazy vision, and pray Keel does not have the Scuttle because of that speed boot. Oh, dude. I got clips for you later, Kangas.
Can't wait. So I'm checking out the counters for Tristana mid right now to see what is like meta that they could pilot. Talia is actually at a close to 60% win rate against Tristana. Makes some sense. You're just going to outshove her and outroam her on the map. Probably be able to get back before she's able to do much to your turret. So Saligo could pull out something like that. Cassiopeia, pretty high priority.
Pantheon! Oh my God! I'm actually
we're gaming now.
So that could either be Panth mid or Panth top. I think mid is actually... It's kind of tough because you're still going to get pushed in. There's a lot of all-in threat into Tristana, but your all-in is absolutely filthy. So we'll have to see on that last pick, but that's crazy. The global pressure, Wildcard just keep pulling out new things. You can't ban them out. It's not possible.
Hear me out.
I'm listening.
Sure. You know, we're losing control of pick ban against with anytime somebody plays Wildcard, even EGR leading into it now, picking up Gragas here for Soul in the top lane. Unless, I guess, support Gragas, maybe they'd pull that out. Actually, I don't hate that necessarily. But the thing is...
nice.
Nunu mid.
Nunu.
Think about it. Think about it.
Nah.
Does it work against Tristana? Probably not. I honestly think it's going to be the Pantheon mid against the Tristana. And the Zac locked in for top lane Moose Hater. Yep. It's Soligo piloting the Pantheon.
Oh my God. Okay, there's like so much to talk about here. Fun. The Gragas for Soul is a big one. When he was called Anime Girl, played for Immortals AoE, and Gragas top was rising in popularity. It was one of his best picks. So good at neutralizing the lane and being impactful in team fights. And, well, we need that for Evil Geniuses. I like the comp overall because you have more playmaking tools like the exploding cast, the body slam, smoothie on the Braum. I think is a really nice look as well. If you get pulled in, you can technically use the get behind me to kind of bring yourself back a little bit. Your wall can also help you eat up some of that damage. And overall, your passive, the ultimate, is unreal for team fights. I like this comp better from EGC, but wow. Wildcard's comp, I mean, it's crazy for one thing. I don't even know where to start with this one.
This comp is it's a NASCAR. We're just doing laps. We're going as fast as we can in one direction. It's forward. they are looking to fight with these 5 champions locked in, and Evil Geniuses will have to figure out an answer, figure out a solution. As Twitch chat believes in Wildcard still, with 100% of you agreeing that they can take it. I can't wait to see Twitter's reaction to this draft. This is like the most Wildcard draft we've had in quite a while. Oh, they're going for the invade. Oh,
yeah, I like
this. He's actually gonna die. Wait, no, you're trying to invade a Braum, my dude.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I like it because, you know, Blitzcrank, that's what people do. And in this case, Duo King, not respecting the fact that he said it, Kangas. He's playing into the Braum. That spear is nice, but ultimately Ryoma should be able to back and spend that gold that he just earned. And we'll see it. Oh, little car Blitzcrank just minding his own business. Look at him. Oh, God, I just want to place the ward. It's nothing too serious. Don't mind me.
Oh, no. You know, he is piloting the Hot Rod skin. So I think, you know, it's pretty poetic, honestly.
There's something to that. Crashing and burning at level 1, yeah.
And Ryoma getting the kill too.
Yeah,
Thanks
that's
for
brutal.
the leash, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, there is something. The spear cancels the recall, but ultimately, it's that was a dopamine move. Ryoma's still gonna make it back. Oh, did his back? Did he cancel his back? I guess he stayed.
He didn't get back to buy, so he's not spending the gold early. Looks like no, actually, nobody did. Nobody got back to spend even the assist gold on like an extra potion or anything. So coming in to still pretty standard lane, but this will make it harder for Soligo. The Pantheon mid matchup, in solo queue, at least, at Diamond Plus, is at 45% for Pantheon. So he's actually not considered a high elo counter into the Tristana. And now I can imagine this could be actually pretty tough. Like, you need jungle. You need to just try and kill Trist over and over again, because you're probably not going to do too well in the 1v1.
So, exactly. And that's the thing to highlight here. You're right about the 1v1, but the fact that Keel has this new jungle means that your gank setup is ridiculous. That snowball can actually interrupt the Tristana rocket jump as well. So there's a lot of setup potential with that and something to keep an eye on. Plus, having Pantheon mid means if you set him up for success, he can leave, use the Grand Starfall to be able to move around the map. And that's why I like what Shaden's doing. You want to affect this mid matchup. You want to cover so Keel doesn't end up doing anything, but also make sure that Soligo doesn't get off the ground.
Two things happening here.
Yeah,
Soligo doesn't have flash. He doesn't have a shield. It's a long cooldown. Shaden dropped the ward on the buff. He actually forgoes it. I thought he was going to either go for the invade or try and dive Soligo. He doesn't do either. I kind of feel like Shaden could have pushed for more there.
I'm thinking so as well. I'm not sure what the decision was, but overall, now I guess it's trying to get this kill onto Moose Hater. This is hard, though. You're just going to get his flash.
Yeah, or just even the jump away.
Oh, yeah,
misses. See. Ooh, Shaden's been missing a couple of those today. Not heat-seeking as of right now. And honestly, actually falling quite far behind in the clear. Like, Keel's done a full top clear, full bot clear into the bottom scuttle. 28 is his CS number, and Shaden wasted a lot of time, went for an invade, stood in the brush for about 15 seconds, and then just walked mid. Goes top, doesn't get the gank. Now on his top camp, so he's heavily behind.
It's brutal. Usually on the Elise, we're seeing a lot of 3 camps into some sort of gank, but that time spent covering Ryoma, because, I mean, it's very common for Nunus to clear 1 camp, level 2 gank. So just making sure you're in the area so Ryoma can spend a lot of the early gold he's earned was important, but it's tough because now Keel's a level up.
And, a level.
Yeah.
Ooh. He was actually waiting to see if he'd look for more. Shaden just wanted the ward, as he's spotted everywhere he goes. The solo lanes from Wildcard are constantly keeping wards down to track where the Spider Lady is. And this allows Duo King and Lens to play very aggressive bot lane here. They're pushing in, trying to pull mobility. Smoothie absorbing a lot of that. It's harder to kill the Braum, but now this could be big. Flash over the wall, Shaden wants this kill, and there you have it! Ryoma picks up another.
That was clean. It costs you both flashes, but taking advantage of the fact Soligo doesn't have his, you're getting this Tristana ahead. Ryoma's now 2-0, and that's why you have this Jhin Braum bot lane. It's just about neutralizing the Draven and the Blitzcrank. Yeah, you're going to go down in CS, but you're not giving away kills, and that's the most important part, and this is what I'm talking about. That unbreakable wall means whenever you get pulled in, not a whole lot of damage ends up coming through, and especially because that rocket grab is on such a long cooldown, you have nothing to worry about.
We saw a little bit of the bot lane scrap too during that replay as Mobility and Smoothie trying to play their best here in the 2v2. They're actually getting a lot of damage on the Duo King. The Blitzcrank doesn't flash though. Still alive for now. Ryoma so accelerated 2-0 and 0. Fact got the buy and then teleported to the lane. Now he's gotten a second buy. The boots plus the Moon Flipper. Now we finally get a Nunu gank. This is the first Nunu gank. It's just been power farming Nunu up to this point, and it accomplishes nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't want to go for it. They're too far, and his bot lane isn't there. So it just means that it's going to be able to very easily pick up the first dragon. And another thing, actually, if you don't see a lot of Nunu, something that is very difficult to deal with when it comes to playing against this champion is fighting for objectives. His Q, Consume, does true damage to minions and monsters, and it literally does, at max level, it's like 1100 true damage, excuse me. So 50-50s, they're not winnable.
Yeah, it's just impossible. You're not going to go for those. So Shaden instead is going back to farming his own camps, maybe looking at Soligo again. Ryoma jumps in, has the Buster Shot. Heal is here. Ryoma might have to flash this, but he knows that Shaden's in his back pocket. The Cocoon goes wide again. Keel dodging out on that, so no kill either way.
So I think even though early on we're not seeing as much activity from Shaden, I like what he's doing. Using the Elise's early game power to cover his laners, especially mid lane. Just him showing his face was enough for Keel and Soligo to be like, you know what, okay, fine. I'm just going to walk away from this one. So making sure Ryoma, who's going to be the big damage dealer as time goes on, has that good laning phase is really important, and it's a major win con for Evil Geniuses. So I like what I'm seeing from Shaden.
And Smoothie as well, taking time, leaving Mobility in lane to walk all the way up to the river, dropping a control ward into Pixel Brush. They want to allow Ryoma to push. If Ryoma knows that he's not in danger of a gank, and they can see Keel before he's in like the kill threat range, then Ryoma can always rocket jump to safety and get out of there, and allow this Tristana to just take the turret, take as many places as possible, carry through the mid lane. Here's what the gold looks like, actually, if the observers could pull that up, because Ryoma is also up a decent amount of CS. Heal is up for the jungle matchup as of right now. But not a lot of gold. Yeah, that's 1,300 advantage to Ryoma. That feels really good for Evil Geniuses right now.
And it's not just the gold advantage, the fact that you're keeping Soligo in the lane. And this is what we saw from Ryoma and what you always see in other champions with global ultimates like Ryze, Talia, etc. Keep them in their lane, keep them pushed into their turret, and it's much harder for them to find openings to be able to get across the map, because that's what this pick wants to do. And, here we go.
Second gank. This is what you need to do on the Nunu. Get as many ganks as possible. Explosive cast. Soul has flash. I like it.
Absolute
the body slam into the flash to get past Moose Hater. Survives with the W shield, and now Moose Hater taking a lot of damage from Shaden, trying to go for the kill. Won't find it, so Moose Hater and Keel are fine for right now, but Soul played that very well to survive.
Absolutely, and a lot of flashes have to be blown here. The big thing to worry about is that you don't have the kill onto this Nunu, because again, you want this Rift Herald as Evil Geniuses, but it's hard. You can't 50-50 it, so you need Ryoma to move, you need Soul, who's back in lane, to also move, and you need to make this play onto the Nunu, unless you burst down this Herald very, very quickly, which I doubt.
Yeah, Shaden's not level 6. Doesn't matter as much on the Elise, but still a level behind. Moose Hater jumps in, but does not have any follow-up, any backup. Has to flash away. Now Keel gets onto Smoothie, who has roamed up. That is Herald secured for Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, that's the big play here. Moose Hater trying to buy time, but Smoothie pushes out Keel, making sure he doesn't go in. and is able to steal that away. And now Duo King, they know he's here, so it should be pretty easy for Evil Geniuses to avoid this one. But this is good. This is a much better early game than what we saw in game 1, and this is the improvement that we were hoping for a team whose expectations that we had from them were pretty high, Kangas. And now that we're seeing this adaptation, we're seeing Ryoma, who recently had joined the roster. Visa, hell, you know how it goes, everybody. And we're finally starting to see him come into his own and answer that question, what do Evil Geniuses look like with this player? Because we know when Robbie Bob was here, it was different.
And a big part of, I think, why this matchup in particular is working out for them is because Wildcard, the more I think about it, they really did counter themselves. If they're not ganking mid, like, Heal has not been chain ganking mid like I would have expected with the new Pantheon. And Saligo's been level 6, above level 6 for a while now. Level 8 has not ulted once. The first Pantheon ult, you want to do as quickly as you can and get as much as you can for, but if you leave Ryoma in this lane, Ryoma will just take the entire turret. So you can't really walk away as the Pantheon. You can't ult bot lane unless Ryoma is also going for a reset. Maybe now that Ryoma's backing off, they could. I think this is actually the first window that Saligo has to try and get something on the map.
And this is great from Evil Geniuses. Smoothie and Shaden both expending so much time to cover Ryoma at various timers to make sure he doesn't get surprised. Now we're seeing Smoothie spend so much time here. And it's perfect because it leads into this dragon fight that is coming up in about 10 seconds time. Wildcard got the first one. They've been good with dragon stacking. Remember, Keel, impossible, as long as he plays it right, to beat him in a 50-50. That is just Nunu. So you need to get him out.
Wildcard might get their first fight here. Snowball lands onto Smoothie. Saligo jumping onto Ryoma, trying to trade out a little bit of a health bar as the Herald charges turret. There's one plate left to pick up before the turret goes down. Wildcard are first to the dragon, but they don't have full control over it. Evil Geniuses are approaching. Ryoma is scary. If they do not respect this Tristana in the fight, they will get hard punished for it as Ryoma jumps in onto Saligo, just trading even more heavily the health bar of his lane opponent. And the game is still in control of Evil Geniuses. I'd like to see them try and actually force off this dragon. Soul has teleport if he really wants to come in for a flank. Yeah. They don't have mobility with them yet, and okay, dragon's just gone. Never mind, Evil Geniuses just give it up. They want to give Ryoma the gold instead.
It's the turret. I think Ryoma's going to be able to get this, and that's a big deal because it's been all about the mid laner here for Evil Geniuses. So much time we spend praising Shaden, who has been playing well, of course, and how Evil Geniuses play towards him. Now we're seeing when a different player gets the spotlight, and it's Ryoma, and look what it's turned into. 2,600 gold in favor of the Tristana. He's up gold, XP, everything you could possibly hope for, and as long as EGC continue to play around him, this game can be how they even out this series and avoid going 0-2. Because you look at the leads on the other lanes in favor of Wildcard, inconsequential. You're down, what, 600-700 gold as Jhin into Draven? I mean, you just expect these things.
Yeah, but he hasn't killed you. That's a big thing.
Exactly.
The Draven is like not popping off in the lane phase, which is oftentimes kind of what he's drafted for. But I will say, Wildcard have 2 dragons. So they're also, even though they're behind, even though Ryoma is a concern, they have the Mythic on Lens, and I think if they can continue the Dragon stacking like they did in Game 1, they still have a win condition. Now, The question will be, who's going to be in the better position coming into the Dragon Soul fight? Because that is where Wildcard might be too far behind if EG can keep playing aggressive, playing fast. As now the Blitzcrank lands from Duo King. Catching out Smoothie is a great place to start. Duo King will be traded. Ryoma can't get onto him. Now the curtain call coming through. Finally, Pantheon ults in, and Duo King is still alive. Curtain call missed the first shot. The rest of the team is there to back up Duo King, and that is a free kill for Wildcard.
That's a big deal. They get something back after everything that's gone on. Almost the turn from Ryoma, but he doesn't want to overcommit. There's a lot of CC to deal with, and I respect that discipline. At this point, you don't give away your shutdown as well as the Tristana, so it's not at all doom and gloom here for Evil Geniuses. You're still in control of this game, but I want to touch on the point you brought up, Kangas. The Dragon Soul fight, after we look at this replay, of course, because the big thing here, it's a nice move from Smoothie. Try to use the stand behind me to bait the Nunu to go towards him, but all the damage, it's there, man. And I think the saving grace is that Lens doesn't get the kill. It's the Ignite from Duo King. No cash in for the Draven. Even though you go 1 for nothing, that was best case scenario.
Saligo uses the first Pantheon ultimate of the game to say, I participated. I was there. I saw the action happen. As it really has been about either the mid lane for Evil Geniuses or the bot lane for a wild card. It's rough that Lens didn't get the kill.
Yeah.
Draven cashing in there would have felt fantastic.
Game changing.
I think it was probably Duo King's Ignite, if I had to guess, that actually got the kill onto Smoothie because he got very far away and was very low. Okay, Soul looking for a gank here now in the mid lane. The mid turret is gone. There's nowhere to hide. Duo King has to flash away, gets the pull back on to mobility. A lot of damage from Lens, but Duo King just doesn't have enough backup and gets picked off.
Very nice. Good looks from Evil Geniuses. Soul finding these angles, getting the push onto Moosehater, and is just impacting. This is what we needed from him on this Gragas pick. Champ he's very proficient on, and a champ that is making moves this game. You get summoners spells, the flash out of Lens, which means this Draven is in danger in these next couple minutes. The dragon fight especially is what I want to focus on, because you're right, EGC now have to go for this next one. You got to take Keel out of the picture or make it so he can't enter the pit. And also, you have a big opportunity as EGC to really get your foothold in this game by killing Lens. You force him to lose a lot of those adoration stacks, then it becomes incredibly hard for this Draven to come online.
And keep getting more gold into Ryoma. I think they just drop the Herald here most likely. Unless Ryoma just wants to take the turret on his own. Yeah, they actually don't need the Herald. They can just take this because Tristana is just that good at doing this thing in the game. Jumps in onto Saligo, who gets the empowered shield, gives you a big burst of movement speed afterwards, so you're not going to catch up to him. But he cannot defend the turret nonetheless.
No, and it's just more gold. All this support, you don't even have to drop the Rift Herald. And I mean, Shaden,
2,000 differential mid lane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, he's so far ahead. Saligo, best he's going to be able to offer in these team fights is turning the tides with that Grand Starfall and using the Aegis Assault to get a stun off on someone. Empowered stun, you know, it does good amounts of damage. It locks people down. And that's really all he's going to be able to contribute in these fights. And that's all you have to be afraid of as someone like Ryoma.
And I want to specify, I don't actually think that the first kill for Ryoma actually did too much to impact the mid lane matchup. I know you might go back and say, oh, well, it's because Ryoma got first kill. That's what put this kind of into motion. It felt great, don't get me wrong, but he didn't get the back for the level 1. So he came back into the laning phase, even in items, and it was only the first back that he was able to spend that, and I still think he wins the matchup anyway. So as we're set up for the Dragon, eyes will still be on Ryoma for Evil Geniuses. How does the Tristana look to pop off here?
And Keel they can just look to burst this on Wildcard side. Basically play footsies in and out, because Keel can steal this.
in the pit. Duo King's in the pit. Everybody is in the pit right now. The Grand Starfall is straight onto mobility. That's how you use a Saligo. And Lens takes down Soul. Wildcard. They're doing it again. The team fight is where they excel. Duo King gets flash out of Ryoma, but the rest of the team still chased down into the mid lane turret. Wildcard are so dangerous when they group up as 5 for these fights.
And we're maybe seeing the consequences of what Wildcard did in stacking those 2 early Drakes. The EGC, this fight was important for them, and a lot was riding on it. And instead of getting the Dragon, instead of slowing the Soul, Lens cashes in a double kill, no less. And now it was maybe 1,000 gold in favor of him versus mobility. Now it's what, 3,000 I think it was?
I want to say it was 2,500. It was somewhere between that. Yeah, I mean, gets a bloodthirster off of that bag. That is insane from Lens. Let's get another look at that, because I first off, I love Saligo here. You're not giving a lot of value, but you can stop mobility while he's ulting. Just go onto the back line.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically, you're still an 80 carry, so even a behind Pantheon can do a lot to you. And yes, Keel gets a lot of damage off the absolute zero. Everybody was nice and grouped up for him to contribute. And as soon as Lens got that cash in, okay, I guess it became very difficult.
Oh, but this is where Evil Geniuses is stronger. Not always in the grouped up 5v5 team fight, but finding somebody isolated, letting Ryoma be that carry, but he's knocked up. Canceled. Double tanks on top of him. Ryoma is getting chain CC'd. He's stunned and he's shut down by Lens. He got the adoration stacks before. Now he gets a juicy shutdown under Ryoma. This Draven is fed.
And it was a great play from Keel. The snowball, again, cancels the rocket jump from Ryoma. Has no flash, has no way out of the fight. And this is Wildcard, who were down, who were falling behind in this game. They managed to pull it back. This is what they do best. When they're down, you can't count them out. And they prove it time and time again as they're defeating more and more of these challenger teams here in Challengers League.
Absolute insane. The Wildcard are able to completely turn this game on its head. We were looking at Ryoma and how much attention he was getting in the mid lane, saying, yep, that's the carry, that's how this game's going to go. But in the last couple of minutes here, Lens has really stepped up with Wildcard, enabling him in these fights. He was getting a subtle lead against Mobility in the bot lane, who, a reminder, subbing in for Evil Geniuses Challengers here. Mobility doing his best given the circumstances that he has been put in. But Lens,
yes,
the player to step up on Wildcard, slotting in perfectly to the AoE Ginger Turmeric core from last year. And like you said, along with Saligo, and now he's hard carrying. Shaden gets pulled over the wall. He has flash, he might have to use it. He's got the repel as well to try to buy space, bait everybody from Wildcard in, but they're the ones that got baited because Wildcard are not losing any of their health bars. Like, where was the damage? There was just nothing done.
And to make matters worse, Moose Hater wasn't even in the picture. But now, Wildcard continue to get aggressive and continue to advance their gold lead as they're going to be able to pick up this Baron, which means Wildcard, they're looking at a 2-0. We talk about Lens, we talk about this whole team and what they've been able to do. And we really had started to give them credit. I mean, first of all, they had a lot of wins, so of course we're crediting them. But it was when they 2-0'd C9, when even in the face of the team who had the best standard play out of all the teams here, they still won with their own style. And now it just feels like the rest of the league that they play against until they play someone like Dignitas or something like that. This is what we can start expecting from Wildcard. This is the level of play that we continue to see.
It could be a 4-0 weekend for them. I feel fantastic for the provisional team that has now shot past Cincinnati Fear as the top provisional team in the league. They're shooting up to the top to be one of the best teams in the league. They have that 2-0 against Cloud9 Challengers, like you said. And Cloud9 Challengers are currently the only team above them in the standings right now, outside of Dignitas, who are like 4 games above anybody else. So
yeah,
it's not like that scary or not that crazy. Wildcard are fast approaching the top echelon of the NACL, and they do it in such a cool way.
Yeah.
Their drafts are unique. Their gameplay is unique. And yeah, a lot of reason that they have the fan base that they do, the Twitch chat that pops off when they pop off.
Now, the cherry on this cake, the icing, is going to be this Dragon Soul that is guaranteed theirs, barring some monumental throws and ints. I just can't imagine a world where Wildcard loses this dragon, and that soul is going to be how they end the series, how they cap off the 4-0 weekend like you highlighted, Kangas. And at this point, he's just sending it. Keel's just throwing out snowballs, seeing what he can get.
Where was the hug from Duo King? He was within range, just pull.
they're not looking for it, you know. This is Flash. There's still Rocket Jump. Forget it. It's about sending a message, Kangas. You can't do anything about this. You can't stop this.
The message being sent.
Dread it. Wildcard comes all the same.
The message being sent is, you didn't respect us coming into the split, but you certainly will now. With another Dragon Soul picked up, they have had 9 out of 9 dragons picked up in this series. They had all of the regular dragons plus Elder last game. And now they got all of the regular dragons this game. Considering how the early game went, that is just shocking to me that they're able to mount this kind of comeback with this kind of composition. But that's just what we can expect from Wildcard.
That's right. And what we can expect from them is good gameplay. Top of the NACL level gameplay, because that is where they are. Something we have to really start talking about. This is a team where relegation is not even something you joke about for this team. As far as things are going at the moment, like it's not even funny. Like it just. If
don't jinx them beat down.
Today,
now if they bomb out in playoffs, everyone's gonna go back to this clip of you. I want to give some credit to some of the players individually, as on the map right now, they're just using the best of the Baron buff to push in. They're getting all the outer turrets. Pretty standard stuff right now, so until they go for the game-ending push, probably around this next Baron in 2.5 minutes. Credit to some of the individual players. Lens for stepping up big, carrying here. Actually, I might not have a lot of time to talk about that, as a fight is breaking out. Ryoma jumps in, straight onto Keel. A lot of damage onto the Nunu, but now the rest of the front line is Moose Hater going forward. And Lens picking up a lot of damage and a double kill. Everyone grouped up, throws out the Whirling Death, and it is just that for Evil Geniuses. Wildcard. They will take a fight if you give it to them, and they will win it. I was setting up the big narrative piece, but I think this could just be the end of the game.
What else is there to talk about, Kangas? Everyone on Wildcard continues to step up. The core from AoE Ginger Turmeric with the new players. Soligo, our rock in the mid lane, even in matchups like these, he manages to pull through. And Lens, look at
Soligo jumps in, Duo King pulls him back, Dice as he flashes for the ult. Soligo will probably fall here as well. Evil Geniuses with their final defense, but Lens is untouched. Lens is unkilled this entire game, but now goes down to Ryoma right at the Nexus push, a shutdown. The tanks are still up. Ryoma's gonna have to do a lot of work right here. They can just use the minions, start hitting the Nexus. Ryoma cannot heal up in the fountain, has to go in. Keel pops the ultimate. And Moose Hater and Keel walk away. Okay, they're not going to push for the game end.
I mean, yeah, they don't want to take a chance, give away their lives with Baron spawning soon, but it doesn't really change a whole lot.
I guess.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't change anything, and you're just going to see it. The CC layered, Lens very comfortably in the back line, full health, Bloodthirster shield to boot. There's just nothing to do at this point. This is what we can expect after the big turnaround that Wildcard had in this game. And you know what, Kangas? We get to talk about the individual players now. I think that's what they did for us just now. Yeah.
They did it for us. Wildcard was like, all right, let's into Nexus just so they could talk about us even more. You know, that sounds like a thing that Wildcard would do, knowing these players.
Yeah.
All right, so where was I? Yeah, Lens doing well. Has died, though. So how good can he be doing?
Yeah, good point. Good point. Only 7K up. I don't know, Kangas. How good is that? He's almost doubled his gold.
Whoa.
Yep. Good ult from Soul. But, I mean, we talked about it. Lens, Soligo, the two newer players, really stepping up. Soligo, it's been around this tier 2 seed. Didn't look so great last year on Evil Geniuses, but is really starting to come back into form this year, which is great. And Moose Hater, people call him the Garen one trick. You get him off that, what does he have? And I think he's also answered that question as well. We've seen the Alawi, we've seen the Zac.
Seen the
Udyr. Like, what else? This is... Oh, wow.
Wait, that Whirling Death wasn't even going for the wave. I thought he was trying to clear the wave a little bit. He was just stopping the back. Because everybody else is coming into the Nexus. Now Wildcard with no Nexus turret say, all right, it's easy peasy. Let's just walk up and hit this thing. Do it right. Okay, nope. As I say that, they want more kills. That's Wildcard for you, everybody. Patting the stats before closing out the game. They want to send a message to every challenger roster that would challenge them. Wildcard will not be disrespected.
And that message, Kangas, is that Wildcard is a top team in the NACL. I don't want to hear anything different anymore, because it is just a statement of fact at this point, where they just beat team after team. They split with challenger teams, or they 2-0 them like what we saw today.
Wildcard is rocketing up the standings. There was a little bit there where Cincinnati Fear were the provisional team above them. That is now a past narrative, because strength of schedule-wise, Wildcard have played tougher teams and are now higher than Cincinnati Fear and are going up to punch with Dignitas challengers. When do they even play each other? Now I want to look at the schedule. That's going to be insane. That's next week. That is next week, literally on Saturday. That's going to be incredible. But we can't talk any more about that because we'd rather hear from the players themselves. So we're going to send it to a short break while Magical comes back with an interview from a member of Wildcard after this series and after this break. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, welcome back to the LCS Challengers League. I'm here with the interview of the ADC for Wildcard, Lens. Congratulations on a dominant 2-0. I mean, the simple question to start it off, how does it feel after winning so commandingly?
It feels pretty good. We're just putting in the work, playing our own gameplay, I mean game style. As you know, meta is like very different. Everyone just plays anything other than like, I guess, handshake matchups, Lucian, Nami, Zeri, Lulu.
So
yeah.
I actually kind of want to go into that a little bit, because you guys definitely just continue to feel like, screw the meta, right? It's
Yeah.
like you do what you want, and I feel like that gives you a huge upper hand over everyone, mostly because you guys just have such an understanding of the game. So is it just more you put the practice into all these champions, or is it just you want to go with comfort?
We put the practice in and we just want to go comfort. And as I said, it's just like every team has their own meta. Especially if you look at LEC, you can see G2. They're like picking weird champs like us. I mean, you can call it whatever, but as long as we win, we're just gonna keep picking it.
No, I respect it. I mean, you're Draven right now. That was, I think, your 4th game you've played this split on Draven, and you haven't lost. It ties your Callista for the same record. Which one do you prefer at this moment? It's the Draven or the Callista?
Draven is a better blind pick, so I try to go Draven more, but I'm pretty confident in both of them.
Okay. And I will say you did have the chance of a perfect game in game 2.
Yeah.
So it was just greed, right? It was just
we were just laughing, hitting the Nexus. We knew it was over. After the drag fight, we just knew it was over. I cashed in 1.3k. They can't do much, yeah.
No, it's 1.3k, jeez.
Yeah.
Those cash in stacks, like we go back to the first game. You were kind of telling us about that, like your first cash in after the dragon fight. What was that again?
1.3 or something. I don't remember.
Jeez, that's just.
But I cashed in so many like huge golds. I don't even remember anymore. It's like always above 1k.
Well, I think game 2 you ended even after like 25 minutes of gameplay, twice the amount of gold. Like that is an insane amount to have. And so for you and for Wildcard, like we look at this roster, and you guys are, you know, the top provincial team now. So how does that feel going from a team where a lot of your components did well in proving grounds last year to now being this one unit that didn't make it into any of the Challengers teams, yet still are showing everyone that you are absolutely dominant?
Yeah, I mean, if you asked me, I knew we were good from like 2 months ago, because we've been practicing for a long time, and the teams we're practicing against are like top level. So we were like sometimes like beating them, so we gained confidence, and we're just like, yeah, we work every day, and if we don't work hard enough, we're gonna lose, but we work hard. So
I remember talking with you in an interview before. You claimed, and this was what, 2-3 weeks ago, you claimed that you were going to be top 3. Well, you are currently in that conversation. We're halfway through the season, and yet still here you are. But you haven't played up against Dignitas Challengers. How do you think that matchup is going to go for you guys? Are you confident going into it, or do you think this is going to be your first real test?
I mean, I think we had a lot of tests. I mean, we just beat C9. I'm not really like scared of any team, kinda. Of course, they're like very good and stuff, but I just look at Dignitas games and it's like perma Lucian, Nami, Zeri, Lulu, and we refuse to play those champs, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay, I like that. And then I also want to talk about Cincinnati Fear, because you play them in 2 weeks' time. And they were the team that was considered the top professional team, but now you guys have taken back that position. And going into that matchup, have you felt like you were always the better provincial team, even despite them briefly having the edge on you in the standings?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, some teams play against like lower tier teams, and they have like, I don't know how to say it, maybe like easier schedule. And yeah, they're just playing against like harder teams now and kind of struggling, but I think they're pretty good. They should bounce back.
Okay, and now here's going to be a fun one. Besides yourself, who's the best player on Wildcard?
It's a hard question.
I know, this is a hard one, and you gotta choose.
Duo King.
Duo King, alright.
Yep.
Just like laning with them, works really well with you?
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, when we watch you two in the bot lane, there's a lot of power that you have, especially the Blitzcrank that draws a lot of bans. And I think it leans into how you play with Draven, how aggressively you tended to play. You talked, like, let's go back to game 1 briefly before we start closing this out. You talked about how that game was a little bit more boring.
Yeah.
And so, kind of talk us through, like, the mindset you had going from game 1, which was much more boring, to game 2, where at first it looked a little dire because you guys were behind right away.
Yeah, I mean, first game I wouldn't say it was like boring, but it was like we blinded Draven, they went to Ezreal Karma, so I was a bit nervous, but it's just like first wave. I just did my job. I looked at damage charts, I had like 7k damage, I'm like playing Draven. It kind of feels bad, but we get the win, I do the job. Second game it was just more like people were losing, like mid lane was kind of rough, I think. They had Tristan a pick. But once I cashed in, I was just confident giving calls. I was just confident I was going to cash in and carry, so.
Nice. All right, so before I let you go, quick shout outs to anyone or any call outs to any haters. What do you got for me?
Shout out to my teammates, my coach Griffin, and my parents. And yeah, that's all.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lens. Good luck on the future. We'll keep an eye out, especially next week when you face off against Dignitas Challengers. But as for now, we're going to toss a break so we can get ready for our second series of the day, Fly Fam versus 100 Thieves Challengers. Make sure you stay tuned.